Saudi Arabia is a country that has been fundamentally transformed by its oil industry. From the discovery of oil in 1938 to the present day, the country's economy, society, and politics have been shaped by its vast oil wealth. In this video, we will examine the history of Saudi Arabia's oil industry in greater detail, exploring its impact on the country and the world, and examining its current challenges and future prospects. The discovery of oil in Saudi Arabia is a story of chance, persistence, and scientific ingenuity. It began in the late 1920s when an American geologist named Max Steinecke was sent to the Arabian Peninsula by the California Arabian Standard Oil Company, CASOC, which was later renamed the Arabian American Oil Company, Aramco. Steinecke was tasked with finding oil in a region where many experts believed none existed. After several years of exploration, Steinecke and his team made a breakthrough. In 1938, they discovered oil in an area known as Dammam, in the eastern province of Saudi Arabia. The discovery was a game-changer for Saudi Arabia, transforming the country from a poor, agrarian society into a wealthy, industrialized state. Following the discovery of oil, Aramco, which was initially a partnership between 4 American oil companies and the Saudi government, worked with the Saudi Arabian government to develop the country's oil industry. Aramco's work included the construction of pipelines, refineries, and storage facilities, as well as the recruitment and training of a skilled workforce. During the 1950s and 1960s, Saudi Arabia became the world's largest oil producer and a founding member of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. The country used its oil revenue to invest in infrastructure, education, and other areas of development, helping to transform the country from a primarily agrarian society to a modern industrial state. Saudi Arabia's oil production has been a key factor in shaping the global oil market. The country has the largest oil reserves in the world, estimated at approximately 267 billion barrels. Saudi Arabia's oil production is also significant, with the country producing an average of 11 million barrels per day, BPD, in 2020. As the world's largest oil exporter, Saudi Arabia has played a significant role in influencing global oil prices. The country has a significant amount of spare production capacity, which it can use to adjust its oil production and influence prices. Saudi Arabia's decision to increase or decrease production can have a significant impact on global oil prices. One of the most significant events in the history of Saudi Arabia's oil industry was the 1973 oil embargo, which was led by OPEC in response to the support of Israel by the United States during the Yom Kippur War. The embargo led to a sharp increase in oil prices and had a significant impact on the global economy. Despite its wealth and power, Saudi Arabia is heavily dependent on oil exports for its economic well-being. Oil exports account for around 87% of the country's total export revenue and approximately 42% of its GDP. This economic dependency on oil has left the country vulnerable to fluctuations in oil prices, as seen during the oil price crash in 2014 to 2016 when oil prices fell from over $100 per barrel to below $30 per barrel. In 2016, the Saudi Arabian government launched its ambitious Vision 2030 plan, which aims to diversify the country's economy and reduce its dependence on oil. The plan outlines a range of economic and social reforms, including the development of new industries, investments in infrastructure, and social and cultural changes. One of the main goals of Vision 2030 is to develop new industries that can contribute to the country's economic growth. This includes sectors such as tourism, entertainment, and technology. The government has announced plans to develop new tourist destinations, such as the Red Sea Project, and to promote domestic tourism to help boost the economy. Another key component of Vision 2030 is the development of renewable energy sources. The Saudi Arabian government has announced plans to invest $200 billion in renewable energy projects over the next decade, including the development of solar and wind power. The goal is to generate up to 50% of the country's electricity from renewable sources by 2030. The government has also announced plans to attract foreign investment and promote private sector growth. The goal is to create new jobs and stimulate economic growth outside of the oil sector. The government has announced a range of incentives for foreign investors, including the creation of special economic zones and the streamlining of business regulations. In addition to economic reforms, Vision 2030 also aims to promote social and cultural changes. The government has announced plans to increase women's participation in the workforce, including the lifting of restrictions on women driving and the creation of more employment opportunities for women. The plan also includes investments in education and healthcare to improve the quality of life for Saudi citizens. Despite the ambitious goals of Vision 2030, there are several challenges that the Saudi Arabian government will need to overcome to achieve its objectives. One of the biggest challenges is reducing the country's dependence on oil revenue. This will require significant investments in new industries and the development of a skilled workforce that can compete in a global economy. Another challenge is promoting social and cultural changes in a country that has traditionally been conservative and deeply rooted in tradition. The government will need to carefully manage its social and cultural reforms to avoid alienating conservative elements of society while still promoting progress and modernization. There is also the challenge of attracting foreign investment and promoting private sector growth in a country that has historically been dominated by the state. The government will need to create a business-friendly environment that can compete with other global investment destinations, while also protecting the rights of foreign investors and promoting transparency and accountability. Despite these challenges, the future prospects for Saudi Arabia's economy remain positive. The country's vast oil reserves provide a strong foundation for economic growth, and the government's ambitious Vision 2030 plan has the potential to transform the country's economy and society. With careful planning and management, Saudi Arabia could become a major player in the global economy, with a diversified economy that is less dependent on oil revenue.